Okay, and now we're recording. Please give you everything you need. Dodge the dog's tail. Alright, so I suppose now we should introduce ourselves. So, I'm Michael.
Are you recording this for the developer?
I'm recording it for whoever wants to listen.
Hi, whoever wants to listen. I'm Sarah. I'll be playing Kay, the heretic.
And since this is good, so I guess we should just start off that we're playing Voidheart Symphony. The game is currently in Kickstarter.
Is this the one that you caught the math error in?
Yeah, actually. But I'll be putting all the links to stuff in the description if you want to check out the game. It's still in beta, early development, or whatever. We're using what I'm pretty sure is the latest version of the rules.
And pardon me for chewing gum. It's a coping strategy for me.
That's fine. And so, I guess just introduce a little bit about the game. It's a game of psychic delving and stylish rebels, where you play people in the modern world that live in disenfranchisement or as a minority status, or have been living in the machine of modern society for so long that they've now started to feel empathy for
Excuse me.
for what's happening. I need to describe this a little better. So we're playing a game of supernatural revolution. Basically, the world which we'll be playing in, which is a city that exists in the real world. So we might as well choose Baltimore, since we both live in Baltimore. Represent. Yeah. And in this version of Baltimore, there are those in power that tend to abuse their status, wealth, and influence to exploit those beneath them. Shocking to think that it could happen, but it's fantasy. No, just kidding. But in this version of the world, there exists a shadowy influence behind these individuals, and in the past, there was once a Gothic tower, or a Gothic castle tower, that appeared every few generations, and great heroes would fight it, and that was the author's previous game, Rhapsody of Blood. For whatever reason that no side really knows, the generations of heroes have disappeared, and the castle has gone from manifesting in our world with a single leader ruling over it, to manifesting as all interdimensional portals to another world, and a whole army of hundreds of vassals. Essentially a neo-feudalist system, where the powerful and the elite use its power to rule over everyone else. And you have recently started to see the dark, shadowy tendrils of its influence throughout your neighborhood and community, and where you live and work. And having seen that influence, it's led you to certain individuals that are drawing power from the castle, and those individuals are known as vassals. So, to start us off, I think we should introduce your character. You've already said that you've chosen the Heretic playbook,
Mm-hmm.
and that your character's name is Kay. I think you chose they, them pronouns for them.
Mm-hmm. They're ambiguous. They're probably physically female, but I like ambiguous, and decided to just choose they, them.
Okay, that's fine. And since this is going to be technically a solo game, I was advised to create an NPC to help you out as well. And that process doesn't involve picking a playbook for NPCs, but it was partially inspired by the Inhuman, which is a non-human entity that originates from the castle and has chosen to fight alongside you rather than become just another minion or enforcer for a vassal.
It also comes from the bush at the playground.
Yes, it actually comes from when we were walking the dogs today. I spotted a bush by the playground that we take them to, and I swear it looked like a cross between a bear and some other scounging creature like a raccoon. And so I thought, what if we called that I originally called it Bearcoon, but that didn't sit right in my mouth, so I think you came up with Barracoon. So we got part bear, part raccoon, all weird shadow creature. And at some point, which we're going to work out during the session, Kay had met up with and started working with this creature. Can you tell them what you wound up naming him?
Barry?
Yeah.
I was
Simple?
tired.
That's okay. So, yes, Barry...
You found it amusing, so I was like, alright, Barry.
Mm-hmm. Barry the Barracoon, and you have been following the signs of...
Can I make a note?
Yes?
I like Barracoon instead of Bearcoon because it sounds like you're saying both bear and coon, and I didn't want to emphasize the coon part.
Yeah, that's what I meant by...
racial tolerance. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah, that's why it didn't...
Barracoon.
Barracoon, yeah, that's fine. So, why not tell us a little bit more about Kay? What do they do?
They're a teacher.
Mm-hmm. I saw that you chose for their looks alternative fashion. So, how do they like to dress?
Alternatively?
Alternative, like, are they goth? Are they?
Well, I guess it would depend on what the principal, who is our nemesis,
Mm-hmm.
spoiler alert, would allow us to wear. Because I have experience in the classroom teaching,
Mm-hmm.
and, people would be shitty to me. Like, I didn't even have that many facial piercings back then. But people would be shitty to me if I wore my facial piercings. Even,
Mm-hmm.
Retainers in them. So, I'd probably tone it down for class.
Uh-huh.
But I like the idea of a goth. More goth in the winter. More cyber neo-goth in the summer.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, a lot of black and dark colors in the winter, and then in the summer, brighter colors, brighter hair, and stuff like that. It's not necessarily goth, it's more punk, but it's neo-goth.
Cool.
Everybody is dying! Yippee! I'm bright-colored!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay. Right. So.
Also, pardon my sniffles. It's late at night, and there's a dog.
Yep.
Who just grumbled. I don't know if you picked that up.
No. Okay.
Oh, you have to have picked that one up.
We got our dog next to us here.
One of them, the other one's downstairs, probably going to complain, nobody's paying attention to me, even though she's allowed to come up here and allowed up on the bed. But no, she's like, oh, no, I'm depressed. Alright, so like I said, the principal, unless there's anything else I need to say about Kay, or even the other person,
Right, we haven't gone into your covenants yet. So I guess we'll start with your crew covenant, which is how sort of what the rebellion means to you, and rebellion being, you're teaming up with this otherworldly shadow creature that apparently only you can really see. At least no one else seems to notice him.
Well, one thing that, like I said, both when I taught and that stupid idea of running for mayor, one thing that really bothered me were the kids that were left behind. In schools, when with minimum effort, the people higher in power could easily help out, but a lot of urban areas treat schools like prisons because they don't want to deal with them. They feel like they don't have to deal with problems. And okay, I can go into politics because I did have some students who shouldn't be in a public school that should be transferred to an alternative school permanently. But the kids that came from homes where their parents are working 3 jobs or don't care, and they have multiple siblings who they've been taken away from their parents several times, and their kids are more homeless and failing in school and acting out in school because of all these issues, and nobody cares about those issues. What they care about is just, shut up, sit down, and your teacher's not going to teach you anything. Your teacher's going to go off on a tangent about their own life. And I hated that. Teachers don't get paid enough. So, yeah, I would care. I cared about my students. So that's probably why I would be part of the rebellion as the youth. And this is what they're growing up in. It's like, in my real life, people are talking about, poor Gen Z, they got everything they want, and just like millennials, except it's worse. And they're like, I had it hard, and what do you have to complain about? And I like to go just school shootings, That's kind of scary. So yeah, in summary, that is what I care about. The students that come through my class. I didn't say what level I taught, and that hasn't been relevant yet, so I'll pick that out when I get there. But the students and the youth, them having a safe place to live and thrive.
Wow.
And people not taking advantage of them. Yeah, I'm a decent person. I don't know. I mean, I've been married to you for more than 11 years. I would think you'd...
Oh yeah, I know all about this. This is good stuff.
Bravo, Sarah! Bravo! Oh my God!
It also fits that you would have chosen the magician as your arcanum for this covenant, since you're inspiring, resourceful, and driven.
I am.
Very cool. Very cool. And really, that's the only one that we need to go in. Do you want to go into your other contact, or would you prefer to save that until after this delve? Because for this one-shot game, we're going to be focusing on starting off with the delve, and then going into the aftermath of that. But if you want to say something.
Wait, so are we going to be using that other character? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Just not at the beginning.
Okay, well, the one thing I want to note is that Mike and I had a little bit of a tiff about the name. And
Between what is a nickname and what is a nickname?
Well, why did I have to come up with a real name if he's got a nickname?
Oh, I see what you mean.
In this type of scenario, you might not even know somebody's name.
Alright, fair enough.
I mean, think of like Prison Break and The Blacklist and Bones and stuff. You don't know his name.
Oh wait.
We call him A.
That's all you had to say was just that I don't know his name. I just call him by his nickname.
You kept pushing me. I was tired. I gave him a name.
Okay.
So I call him Chronic because he has a chronic illness. Because that was one of the choices. But his real name is Leonardo Washington Evers III. This is my life. This is how it be.
So the Arcana, with that relationship is the Hermit, which makes sense since he's probably mostly stays at home given his illness. But you keep in touch with him regularly. Do you visit him or do you stay in touch over online?
Both. I go visit him sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a teacher, so I'm extremely busy. But I'll go see him when I can. Mm-hmm. He's probably one of my close friends, being a rebel and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And even if he's not with you on these delves, he is there in spirit through the castle moves that you have access to through that covenant, which will come up if it comes up. Mm-hmm. All right. So, I think we should get into...
Sounds like Khaleesi's up.
Yep, that she is. Here we go. Just leave that there for now. All right. Well, then I think it's time that we get into detailing your first target.
Uh-huh.
So,
I'll get my character sheet because the dog's tailed.
All right. So, the first vassal that you face is meant to be your introduction to this world and how it works. So it's someone who has influence be granted to them by the castle, but doesn't necessarily know that it exists or what the source of the power that they're wielding is about. But it nevertheless helps them in their quest to enrich themselves at the expense of others. So, you decided that the vassal in question is the principal of the school you teach at. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, I'll just go through the questions these leading questions that I love so much in RPGs to help flesh things out. How did the vassal hurt you or someone else in this case? Why did you feel powerless to stop them? And you said that the principal treats the school more like a prison, which is definitely familiar. And this is what got me when we were filling these out. How did you realize there was more to the vassal's cruelty than meets the eye? And you said it was when he swallowed a
student.
He swallowed a student, like...
Got a bit of a kindergarten vibe in there.
Oh, the video game.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. So, off to a good start. First enemy.
Which reminds me, I need to put together my Nugget cosplay.
Mm-hmm, yeah. To be fair, just because they're a low-ranking vassal doesn't mean they can't have a body count, so there you go. So, who is the vassal going after now, and why must you protect their target? And you said he is going after another student specifically one from your class, which, yeah, that's definitely a concern. And what is your personal connection to the vassal? Obviously, he's principal, so your boss. And were they always like this? To which you said, he's always been an asshole, but never ate a student before.
Not that I know of.
Now that you know of, to be
I
fair.
mean, he probably could be eating a lot of students. Which is sad. Okay, I'm not... Sarah, don't go off on a tangent.
No, I think the idea is pretty clear.
Well, no, I mean, it could happen because you get kids who are missing, you get kids who move, you get kids who you don't know what happened to them, you get kids who have to drop out of school even if it's illegal for them, if they're like 13, to get a job with money under, to get money under the table or to do something to help take care of their family.
Yeah, and when like school is your world, and then they can just disappear out of that world, seemingly.
In the real world, too.
In the real world, yeah. So, yeah, that's very good, very good. Okay, so...
Yes, Jordy, I'm playing with your nail. I know you don't like it, but that's why I do it.
Yeah, Jordy is our dog. He's a good boy.
And so is Khaleesi, but she's probably pouting on the stairs.
Okay.
I catch the tail.
So normally in a full game we would start doing an investigation to figure out.
I'm gonna go use my nasal spray. Keep going.
Sure. We would do an investigation to figure out what the vassal desires beyond what they're doing to hurt people, and use that to track down a token in the mundane world that will act as a key to lead us into their castle shard. And then you would then
Sorry.
that's okay. You would then dive into that shard of the castle. And we're going to pick up where you've already found that token. And I really liked it when you came up with what it was. It was a bowling trophy.
That's because I'm a writer. So that's kind of what I do, is just come up with that kind of stuff.
So...
Not bragging or anything.
So, what I'm picturing is this trophy is set up outside of the principal's office, displayed prominently, and over the course of several days to weeks, you notice black tendrils winding up its base and gradually sort of entwining more and more around it. And the tendrils have been growing thicker and darker ever since he ate that kid. And you were able to take that bowling trophy and follow the tendrils back into a supply closet where you try to flip the light switch, it doesn't work, and the darkness of the shadows seem to just stretch on forever into the back. And you take a step, and you're falling, and you're falling, and then suddenly you're floating. And
Alice in Wonderland.
Well, not literally like that, but... And then you sort of fall backwards through a door, through what seems to be the same doorway into the closet, and now you are in another version of the school. Everything is dark blues and purples, and the only lights are from outside, and they're slowly flashing back and forth blue and red lights as if from a siren. Flashing slow enough that no one's epilepsy goes off, though.
You mean as in a police car?
Yes.
The siren is the sound.
Right, well, the light, whatever the light is called.
Police lights.
Police lights, yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so that's the first thing you notice. The next thing you notice is how much more energized you feel. If you had any lingering small aches and pains or drowsiness, all of that is cleared away, and you feel like you can take on the world. And Barry is also with you, and he's taken on more of a shadow bear appearance with black and violet stripes running all throughout his fur.
He's purty.
He is purty, and you've also taken on a new appearance. Normally, in the game, you would pick everything that the castle can give you once you hit Shadow 1. We're jumping ahead a little bit here. You were able to pick your gear and the first of your new Shadow look, which you take on whenever you're here in the castle. So do you want to describe what you're geared up in and your new look?
I have improvised bombs and a two-headed axe that is both hefty, but I have to be on solid ground to use.
Okay.
And I have, as a shadow look, I'm on fire.
just on fire?
Not hot fire, unless I want it to be hot fire, but just fire.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You know, anybody traveling with me to this shadow realm would be like, Whoa! Be like, oh no, I'm good, it's just fire.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. Is there any particular designs in your two-headed axe, or is just a big axe?
It's just a big axe for now.
Okay, that's fine.
This is a short game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just me, so I'm keeping it simple.
Yep. Okay, so...
Oh my God, what is wrong with my nose? I'm sniffling, not him, me.
Okay, yeah, he's wagging his tail so much.
Yeah, that's all they're gonna get is boom, 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 boom. Here, I'll just lift it up, and so it's somewhat wagging.
It's okay. Okay, so, normally this would be the part where you navigate the labyrinth of the shard and face hazards and minions of the vassal until you finally get to the heart of the shard where you can use that token to summon him. In this case, we're going to jump straight ahead to that confrontation. You've reached the what is now the principal's office of this shadow school, and the door was blocked up with yellow and black police tape, and Barry was able to ram down and break the door, and you are strolling in, and there's...
Wait a minute, I checked the knob.
The knob of the door that he busted open?
Yeah, was it open?
No, the police tape was made it immovable.
So this is like steel police tape.
Yeah.
Or magical police tape.
Sort of. There's also streamers of police tape kind of woven like a web throughout this office, and the large bay windows of the principal's office make it so that the room is nicely bathed in this intermittent blue and red light.
Typical, he would take the best office.
And as you stride into the center, the fire is sort of like catching on the police tape, and it just sort of fizzles away. Not burning, it kind of just disintegrates / vanishes as you step through it. And I'll go ahead and ask another leading question. What thought do you hold in your mind as you use this token to summon him? Not what you think would work, what actually works.
I hope I get a raise after this.
I
know I won't, though.
Alright, go ahead and mark a shroud as the castle appreciates your ambition. So, here's a pencil for you. Basically, whenever the castle's influence comes into you, you mark one of these shroud boxes, and if you fill 5 of them, your shadow goes up by 1. Okay. Think of it as like your experience. And upon that, the bowling trophy sort of levitates in the air, and all the police tape is strewn, webbed throughout the room, sort of snakes out and wraps itself around this trophy, and tightens and tighter until it just sort of cracks and breaks, and this flash of light, and after the light fades, you see a man that bears a striking resemblance to the principal. I never did come up with a name. I thought I did.
You said you'd come up with a name.
Yes. Mr. Foreman. I know but that's the name that came up. So, but instead of his normal business suit, he's wearing what looks to be a masquerade mask and black cape and top hat, and an appearance that reminds you of Jack the Ripper. That was what I was basically going with the cape and the hat.
Not Tuxedo Mask or anything like
No. No, he doesn't have any he's not throwing roses. Although he's now
throwing grapes.
Throwing grapes. He is now, however, wielding a bowling pin, and says to you, "You know you're fired after this." What do you say?
No, you're fired.
Do your flames heat up after that? That would be very good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So with that, his mask starts glowing, and his eyes flash white, and he aims the bowling pin at you, and a blast of fire leaps out and sneaks across the room towards you. What do you do?
Dodge.
Dodge. That's a good idea. So let me bring up the confrontation rules here. Okay. So when you try to avoid incoming danger, roll +1s. Now, at this point, you can start picking your castle stats. Basically, whenever you would roll a stat for the first time, you can choose one of the 4 numbers available to assign to it. You can pick a +1, 2 +0s, and a -1. So wands covers your essentially your your ability to be slippery and evade notice and avoid obstacles. So what would you like to put in wands before you roll?
What do you mean, what would I like to put in wands?
So this is the first time that we're rolling any of your stats, so you can choose what number to put in them. After that choice is made, but you have a choice between a +1, a -1, or 2 zeros.
And wands helps with...
Oh, jeez. Here, let me bring up the description of them real quick, since we are both new to this. Castle stats. Okay. So wands is your ability to be quick thinking and creative. When exploring, use it to find safe refuge from the castle's inhabitants and turn the environment to your advantage. When fighting, use it to dodge away from blows and use trickery and guile. So,
Oh yeah, +1.
all right. So we'll go ahead and add a +1 there. And go ahead and roll them dice.
Both dice?
Both dice, yes.
5 and a 1.
6 plus 1 from your wands is 7, so that's a mixed result. On a hit, pick 1. On a 10 plus, pick 2. You avoid taking harm. You avoid getting separated from the others or losing something valuable. Or the foes, heedless in pursuit of you, create an opening. So the fun part here is that openings are how you actually damage, how you actually defeat your opponents here. This vassal of the castle has 3 qualities, and you need to destroy all 3 of them in order to defeat him. This first quality is arcane. The vassal can shapeshift and use supernatural forces. That's why he shot the fire at you. So, in order to actually damage his qualities, you need to first take advantage of an opening so that you can use the move strike. So you can create an opening either as a result of your other moves, or if how we describe the fiction makes sense that would happen. And you're not alone in this. You've got Barry with you as well. So he's not going to be rolling dice the way you are, but he can help with setup to your moves, and can help justify certain things happening. So with a soft hit on dodge, you can choose one of those results. avoid taking harm, avoid getting separated, or create an opening?
Create an opening.
Okay, so you'll have to take harm in the process. So, harm is another part here. All right, so the bolt of flame that he shot at you catches you in the shoulder and sears really bad, and in your attempt to dodge away, you sort of fall back into one side of the room with Barry on the other, and you do manage to duck behind his big desk, and he starts to slowly walk around it to follow you, and you're able to move around the other side, and if you do take it, you have the option of trying to strike. Now he's focused on looking for you rather than facing you head on and with his power. So that firebolt to the shoulder gave you a minor wound, and since your gear, you don't have any gear with armor, so you're not going to be able to reduce that in any way. You get four wounds that you can mark off. You get 2 minor wounds,
A major.
1 major,
and
1 deadly. So we'll go ahead and mark a minor wound. Now when you take a minor wound, you can then choose one. You either get infected, in which case you mark Shroud, meaning the castle power seeps into you. Or you get knocked back, get separated from your allies, or pushed away from the enemy. That already kind of happened due to the result of your dodge. So, which one would you choose? The mark? Or the...
Would it basically be an extra, like, got hit?
No, you're not going to take...
Back. I'm sorry, an extra knockback.
If you took knockback, you wouldn't really be able to be the one to take advantage of...
Alright, I'll take Shroud.
Okay, of the opening. So we'll go ahead and mark a second Shroud.
Which you just did.
Yep. Okay.
Here, can we switch pencils?
Sure.
Just because yours has an eraser.
Yes. Meanwhile, I'm going to say that Barry has melted into the shadows and is currently moving through them under the gap above the beneath the windowsill, where the windows are flashing. There's darkness there. He's able to move through those. So at this point, you both are trying to get into position to attack Mr. Foreman. What do you do?
Where's Barry again?
So if the principal foreman is coming around the right side of the desk, you are sneaking out through the front of it.
So I could get behind him.
Yes,
and then I'll shove my axe up his butt.
You can roll to strike.
I will roll to strike.
Okay.
How many do I roll 2 dice, and then what stat is it?
So when you take advantage of an opening, with stealth and guile, roll wands. With physical force, roll swords. With precise insight, roll coins. And with sorcery or sacrifice, roll cups.
Wands, because I'm
Right. You're still sneaking up on him.
2 and a 1.
Okay. Anna, let's see. So, in that case, you don't get the hit in. So I am going to go ahead and take a reaction. As you are.
I'm a great teacher, but I suck at combat. That's realistic. Except I'm not a great teacher. I was okay.
Yeah. As you're sneaking up, one of the police tape strands catches around your waist and throws you off balance, and your axe embeds itself in the floorboards next to him, and he leaps back and leaps upwards and sort of lands on the ceiling, sort of splayed out like this, his arms and legs out, like, nice try. And you hear commotion through the busted down door, and a bunch of what you recognize to be distorted zombie versions of the students that you teach are now swarming into the room.
Would I know it's not real?
You know that this isn't them any more than this isn't actually Mr. Foreman, but his avatar within this world.
But he is controlling said avatar, isn't he?
Yes, and he is controlling these zombie versions.
But the kids are not controlling their zombie versions.
No,
though.
These are minions of the castle.
Yeah, okay. I was just checking because, I mean, like, I couldn't. I'd be like, take me, kids.
Yeah.
Not in that way, but I mean, like, I couldn't. Even my worst students, I loved them. And I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it's weird when you, even if you're only a teacher for like a year, you know, you see these students and even the worst ones, you're like, you know, you wish them the best in life.
Okay. So, this activates his second quality, commanding. The vassal has hordes of minions. And they are going to essentially form a wall between the vassal and you. What do you do?
What's Barry doing?
So Barry is. I think that's a good point. So Barry has been sneaking through the shadows in. Whoa, was that the dog? Okay.
It doesn't seem like that was him, but that's like the only, unless it was outside or something.
It might have been, yeah.
Somebody's, you know, deaf gargling.
Sounded like a cough, but okay. So yes, this so you're
Oh, we've woken him up.
yeah, I'm gonna just no. Okay. So Barry springs from the shadows and essentially bowls into the principal from behind, knocking him through knocking him through the
Desk?
the line.
Wall?
Well, the line of student zombies.
Oh,
Essentially,
okay. The zombie horde.
yes, scattering them a little bit, and more importantly, face planting him in front of you. What do you do?
Is my
And
axe free?
Yes, and also Barry has created an opening.
Okay, I'm gonna have to use some brute strength and see if I can cleft his head in twain.
Okay, what would you like to put for swords then? You can put 2 0. You can put a 0 or a -1.
Okay. Wait, there are four thingies.
Mm-hmm.
0, -1, +1. What's the other one get?
The 4 numbers you can choose?
Mhm.
You can choose +1, -1, 0, 0.
Oh, 2 zeros. Okay, I'll go for a 0.
Okay. Just a straight up and down roll, yeah? And,
These dice are loaded.
oh, and, no, that was, something else. Sorry. Never mind. Go ahead.
Man, I was warming up my dice.
Yeah, warm them up.
6 and a 2.
Oh, okay, 8. So that's a mixed success. So you have damaged one of the foe's qualities.
I have damaged one of the foe's qualities.
Okay. So how does that translate into? I'm going to say that you smashed the bowling pin that he was using to cast his magic. And in the process, it clefts in two, and then explodes outwards in a burst, and in a burst of violet light, and that light washes over him as he's like, no! And he starts changing. So whenever you destroy the quality of a vassal, there's what's called a break action related to that quality, where whenever it's destroyed, the vassal gets a reaction. And in the case of Arcane, when destroyed, he shifts into a monstrous shape with new movement capabilities. So now the battle
Phase 2.
This is phase 2, exactly. Also, since it's on 7 to 9, I get to pick one.
Once again, I apologize for the coughing and the sniffling.
Mm-hmm.
It is both stress and allergies. Mostly stress, though.
Yeah, so the floor breaks away, and everyone sort of falls down, and it doesn't matter that this may not be physically where it is. Y'all fall into the gymnasium, and behind you are essentially the zombie students. Their bodies have been sort of twisted and contorted into human-sized bowling pins. Not like to the point where there's gore and stuff. Like,
I know, but it's still, these are my students. I mean, I'm fine. I'm in character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How does Kay feel about that imagery?
She probably vomits.
Oh dear. At the other end is the principal, who is now has changed into a hulking purple and black beast form, and he
I'm surprised you didn't turn him into a bowling ball.
well, and he takes a galloping leap and sort of rolls up into a ball and dashes at you. What do you do?
He's still not a bowling ball.
I
can
don't want him to be
dodge.
literally a bowling ball. Do you want to dodge?
Ooh. The baseball fan in me actually wants to prepare my axe and just that about a swing.
That about a swing? Sure, I love it.
Okay.
So, where did I put that? I swear, I just had...
That's swords.
I know, but I'm looking for... oh, it's right here. Alright, so that means you confront. When you clash with a foe, intercepting their attack or launching your own, roll plus swords.
6 and a 2 again.
6 and a 2, that's an 8. Alright, mixed success. On a hit, you throw them off balance and create an opening, but they'll respond in turn. On a 7 to 9, pick 2. On a 10 plus, pick 1. So you get to pick 2 from here. Their attack hits you harder than you expected. The foe disengages, repositions, or attacks another rebel. Or their power infects you. Mark a shroud.
No, they're going to go after Barry.
Okay.
Well, you said another team member, so that's the only team member I have.
That's right, yes. So...
I don't mean to step on your feet or nothing.
Uh-huh.
Just...
Oh,
So he's going to go after Barry.
Okay. So, that's one choice. You have a second one. I assume you take the shroud?
No, why wouldn't... Because Barry can handle... You said he's going after Barry.
Okay, sorry. Let me confirm
Sorry,
again.
am I not,
No, do you have 3 choices?
Oh, 3? Wait, what's the third?
The third is their attack hits you harder than you expected. So, that's the first. That you take more from this exchange than you thought. They go after Barry in this case, or you mark a shroud. You pick 2.
Oh, I have to pick 2.
Yes, you have to pick 2. I will say at this point, there's no real downside to marking shroud.
Alright, I'll mark a shroud.
Okay.
And I guess he can go after Barry.
Okay. Go.
Jordy has a cat toy.
Yeah, that's an interesting move because it's rare that you get like less choices when you get a 10 plus, but it makes sense given the options are 2 kind of bad things and 1 usually good thing. Okay, so in this case, you do home run swing him up into Barry as he is is leaping down to come help you, and they both collide in midair and are now sort of animal fighting in midair until they come crashing down to the court and create like a physically dent the floor and crack it.
That's not your toy.
Still wrangling the dogs a little bit, but...
Well, we have 2 large dogs.
Oh yeah, I know.
And they're excited. And it was raining. It was really bad, so they didn't really get a lot of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to exercise them before we go to bed.
For sure, yeah. Okay.
Can you tell our lives are very busy and we don't get to game that often?
Yeah.
Bless you.
Okay. So yeah, now you've got student zombies behind you in freakish pin arrangements. You've got your monster partner battling with another monster. What do you do?
Well, I know that those zombie things aren't real.
Uh-huh.
So I would hope that I would help Barry out and attack again.
Okay, so you can. So you want to open up an opportunity for him to attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would mean that you're lining it up. When you size up the enemy to locate a weak spot, roll plus coins. So now you can choose for
I'll make
coins.
that a 0.
Okay. Yeah, looks like Cups is going to be -1.
Yeah, I just take it as it goes.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. So yep, rolls straight up and down.
Double 6s!
Oh, nice. On a hit, you find an opening. Say where it's coming from. The environment, a chink in their armor, a flaw in their fighting style. Also on a 7 to 9, pick 2. On a 10 plus, pick 1. The foe sends an attack your way. The opening only lasts a few moments. The foe sees you coming, and you'll have disadvantage using the opening. So in this case, it's going to be the NPC Barry taking advantage of this opening. So, did you want any advice on the choice here?
No, you do it.
Okay. The opening lasting only a few moments works, since they're in the middle of a tough, and it wouldn't make sense for it to last any longer if that's what you're affecting. You're not like breaking his armor or taking a limb off or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, don't want to mess with the recording device. There we go. Is it still going? I'm checking now. Yes, it is. It is still going. Great.
It's caught all my farts and sneezes and, well, I didn't sneeze, but coughs and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Alright, so during all this, you are able to sort of well, hey, why don't you tell me how you create an opportunity for Barry to get the upper hand on his wrestling opponent.
Shove my axe up his crack.
If you very tactically placed given the stat.
Sure.
All right, cool. He goes, oh, and then Barry's like, hiya, and does a big bear paw swipe into him, and it does the anime thing where like there's the lights in the background, and the scene is silhouetted in black as he's just sort of clawing and tearing into his opponents, and sprays and droplets are going everywhere. So, I don't know if NPCs can normally damage qualities like that, but we're rolling with it for this. But yes. And as he's doing that, the droplets turn in that land and spatter start to coalesce and shape themselves into blood rats, and they start scurrying and swarming over Barry, and he roars out in pain and starts batting them away, and then gets kicked away by the mess that's left of the principal, who's sort of crawls/slithers away into the corner, sort of surrounded by these blood rats. And when his bestial quality is destroyed, the break action is call in a mob of animals to shelter the vessel. So that's what that is. So now you're in the final phase.
Alright, I'm going to go after the vessel, and we're going to go after the principal, because I have a feeling when we defeat him, the blood rats will go away. So I would rather go after him, and then the blood rats will go away, and see how much damage Barry's taken.
Okay.
Sorry, Barry.
Well, do you, so you, what, you're going after the vassal, or are you helping Barry?
I'm going after the vassal.
Okay. The swarm of rats, are sort of mounting up and,
Protecting the vassal?
protecting him. And
Wait,
yes,
I have bombs.
that is true, and
We
they
throw a
can.
bomb.
Nice. Okay, I'll call that an attempt at line it up, since you're. Oh no, actually, would that be line it up or confront? Because both can create an opening. You're not sizing up the opponent. You're actively, yes, using your bombs. So, yeah, and they have cleave. So, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, you use one of your bombs. What do your bombs look like? What do they, and how do they explode?
They're bombs and they go boom.
It's just straight up, not like firecrackers or
They're bombs and they go boom. What do I roll?
Okay. Yeah, roll plus swords.
5.
As total?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
4 and a 1, 5.
Okay. So the bombs explode and spatter the forms of the blood rats, but then they sort of coalesce and are now making headways towards you. So and they are now scurrying along the floor towards you. What do you do?
They've left the principal open, right?
Yes. So, if you try to take advantage of that, you're going to suffer harm in the process.
Okay. I guess I can just throw another bomb into the horde.
Throw another bomb into the horde, or at the principal.
Ooh, well, how far away am I from the principal? Can I throw another bomb at him?
So you're about 20. You're about 20 feet away with the horde of blood rats in between you.
Yeah, I'll throw another bomb at him.
All right, go ahead and roll strike. That's with us
8.
8, and then you're using physical force, so swords. Alright, that is a hit. And I'm going to say that in the process of hurling the bomb, the rats do reach you and start swarming and biting on you, and you take another minor wound.
Okay.
And as with a minor wound, you can choose to be knocked back or infected.
I can be knocked back.
Alright. Yeah, so as you fall back, your bomb tumbles through the air, and the flash temporarily illuminates his terrified look as catches it in brilliant flash, and time seems to stand still for a second, and then everything seems to sort of be pulled inwards to the light from the bomb, and the zombie student forms sort of disappear and sort of sprinkle like dust inwards. The blood rats get sucked up in, and what's left of the principal all dissolves into this light and reforms as a trophy that says Teacher of the Year.
Aw.
So yeah, you have defeated the vassal, and you now have the option to claim the power of the shard.
Alright, I claim the power of the shard.
Okay. So let's go ahead and bring that up. I got all the sheets here, but here we go. Okay, I found it. And we're still new to the rules, so we're just going to read them when new ones come up. So.
Before playing, don't.
No. Yeah. All right. So now you trigger Rivers in the Desert. When you defeat a vassal's avatar, the power they've gathered is yours to control to bring new life to this city. A number of rebels up to the vassal's rank can pick one of these, starting with the rebel with the highest shadow and working down. Ooh, jeez. Sorry.
Jordy.
Alright, actually, before we get to that, there's one other thing I had to note is when you defeated the vassal, your shadow went up by 1.
Okay.
So that means we erase these shrouds, and you gain shadow 1. And with that, we can normally we would pick like your castle moves and stuff, but that segment of this game is more or less over, so we don't have to worry about that if you don't want to.
Yeah, let's just do the aftermath.
Okay. So, okay. Alright, so a number of rebels up to the vassal's rank can pick one of these, starting with the rebel with the highest shadow and working down. So just you. So you can pick Reformation. The vassal grows a newfound conscience. They'll publicly confess to their crimes and likely will make reparations for injuries they inflicted on you, during the investigation. Roll the retaliation check with disadvantage as the castle's forces focus on the turncoat in their ranks. Another is urban renewal. Pick a neighborhood of the city and describe how you push the castle out of it. So
I like that.
yeah. So in this case, the school can be a neighborhood. The school and surrounding, buildings
Better
and
yet, make it a community
residences.
school.
Oh yeah, really good. Yeah. Place or change a landmark on the map to record this, which if we had a map, which is recommended for normal play, we would do so.
Gee, I wonder where we're going to get a map of Baltimore. I could draw it. Just draw a guillotine blade and then add like some splashes at the bottom for the harbor.
Yeah. Gain a covenant with the world, or raise its rank if you already have one.
Well, if we're already... Oh, wait. Okay. Wait. Is that another aftermath, or are we just
That's
doing...
part of the aftermath, yes.
Oh, but is that one the urban renewal one?
That's for urban renewal, yes.
Okay.
So the world covenant represents your connection with the people, and as it grows, your popularity with the people grows as well. People know that you're an important member of the community, and that you've done a lot of things for them, and not necessarily the reality of the castle and the shadows and all that, but yeah. Oh yes, that's right. Anyone who chooses to use the power also gains a covenant with the Void, or raises its rank if they already have it. As for the vassal, they're stripped of their castle-given power and cannot gain its power ever again. Which means 1, no more eating people, and 2, hopefully, the stranglehold that he had on the rest of the faculty is now gone. That systemic influence has been cut away, and he now...
They'll just replace him.
Well, maybe.
If you care about your students, you're fired.
And actually, that's a great point, and how we could potentially continue this campaign. Does another neighborhood get threatened, or do they bring in a new principal who with them brings in new influence of the castle? Maybe that means that the influence goes higher, and you would have to up your ante and target a higher tier vassal. Yeah, but that's the most of it. And then, yeah, after that we could, if we were to continue, we would look into what projects you pursue in the mundane world, things you do to improve the school outside of defeating the supernatural evil. And there's a whole system to track your progress with those, and all that. So.
Can I coach softball?
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds perfect.
That sounds like a really nice life without borderline personality disorder, doesn't it?
So yeah, that's that concludes the game for
All right, I'm gonna
today.
go pee now.
Okay. So yeah, thank you all for listening, and well, if you're interested in the game, check out Voidheart Symphony. It should still be on Kickstarter, and the quick start rules that we've been using are available for free to try out for yourself, if that's something that you found interest in. We were kind of scattered at the beginning when we didn't really talk about the influences behind the game, other than sort of Castlevania influences from previous game, Rhapsody of Blood. But Persona and Psychonauts and Inception are a lot of influences that are listed for this game, and the ones that I'm at least somewhat familiar with. Well, more with Inception. I haven't actually played Persona or Psychonauts, but I've seen of them, and I do like their style, so if that sort of stuff interests you, then this might be game up your alley. Sarah, what did you think of all this?
It was fun.
Yeah?
We're gonna have to, like, do more and work with more people. And make sure that the dogs are settled.
Yeah. I liked how you had so many ideas about what you wanted to do afterwards in the mundane world. So it seems like this would really be up your alley for like a larger game, perhaps.
Yeah,
if we
but
get
it's
more
also
people.
it's also kind of it also hits close to home because I live here.
Yeah.
And I actually care about here.
Mm-hmm.
And with the political climate in the both in the country, the state, and local area, you know, Baltimore's pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah, I mean, like, you know, if I played with other people, it'd probably be fine. And if we didn't play every day or every week, you know, we have other things that we want to play.
Yeah. And what you said about like how, you know, there's a lot of stuff that makes it hit close to home. That's also something that I like about the GM advice or the architect advice is to make the city feel real and the threats real, but also to make them beatable, which I think is important for the game part of it, where you have this chance to fight back and to make meaningful change in the game and stuff, and it's really cool. Alright, so
I think the dog's already go outside.
yeah, thank you all for listening, and I don't know if this will become a thing that we do more in the future. I just wanted to really try out this game, and I'm definitely looking to see more of it as it develops. So maybe I'll record future games. I don't know at this point. But for now, take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.